Joining us now to break all this down and the potential legal consequences is Jamil Jaffer, the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. Jamil, good to have you back on the show. First off, do we know or will we ever know what these documents contained?
It's a great question, Joe Beth. You know, the Justice Department is continuing its investigation. They've now appointed a special counsel, Rob Hur, the former U.S. attorney there in Maryland, to look into this matter. And if there are filings with the federal court in this matter, those filings may reveal something about the level of classification, whether they're confidential, secret, top secret, or as they were some documents in the possession of former President Trump, top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. We don't know yet, but we may find out down the road.
Okay, you mentioned President Trump. As we pointed out earlier, people are quick to compare the Biden classified docs discovery with the docs found at Trump's home. So, Jamil, how are the situations similar and how are they different?
Well, they're similar in the sense that both now former senior leaders of the government, one former president, a current president, former vice president, handled classified documents inappropriately. They held them in places that were not secure, that were not appropriately designed for the storage of classified materials. That's a problem no matter how you slice it. And in particular for President Biden, he was very critical of former President Trump's handling of these materials back in August before he realized and learned that he had these materials in November, and then now the new discoveries in December, and then again, just as recently as this past Thursday. Of course, they're very different in the sense that President Trump was asked to give these materials back. He said he didn't have them. Then when he got a subpoena, he turned over some documents. It wasn't all of them. He ultimately got a warrant. They got a warrant. They searched his house, found even more documents. And there was some resistance. And so, of course, also President Biden appears to be suggesting, he hasn't said it yet directly, appears suggesting that these documents were inadvertently in his possession. President Trump made the claim that he either declassified them or they were his personal records, neither of which a claim has been made yet by President Biden.
Okay, so Jamil, what are the legal consequences of these differences you mentioned?
Well, depending on what statute people decide to proceed under, there's the Federal Records Act, there's a Presidential Records Act, and then there's the handling of classified documents that are covered by the Espionage Act. And in some cases, you need to prove intent and bad motive. Sometimes you have to prove that the documents were requested and were not returned. That's in the case of the Espionage Act. And so we'll see going forward as a legal matter how these matters proceed. But what is really important is that with the Biden administration now facing these new revelations, politically, it makes it very difficult for them to continue to pursue this case, even if they have a strong legal basis for pursuing President Trump, because now you've got the president himself, the former vice president, accused of engaging in not identical behavior, but behavior similar in the sense of the handling of classified materials, which itself is problematic.
Right. All right. Jamil Jaffer, as always, thanks for coming on the show to break this down.
Thanks, Joe Beth.